Mr. Chairman, may I ask for a unanimous consent request, please? Since Mr. Graves has invited it, I think this is probably a good time to enter all 920 pages of Trump's Project 2025 into the record, where you can see on page 61, for example, the call for giving project proponents more control over regulatory clocks, page 524, for example, which rescinds the Biden rules and reinstates Trump rules under CEQ reforms. For NEPA, page 533, for example, where the Department of Interior is mandated to reinstate secretarial orders under the Trump administration, including time and page limits on NEPA documents. Page 533, for example, where consideration of eliminating judicial review and the challenges to the adequacy of NEPA documents, it goes on, and I would request unanimous
Reserving
consent.
the right to object.
I object also.
Reserving the right to object. Mr. Chairman, I have a question. How many trees would it take to print that? I'm just...
And they didn't even print the secret fourth pillar that's their radical emergency orders for the first 180 days. It's a great question.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Withdraw.
I think President Trump and his campaign has denied any dealings with 2025. Last night he said in the debate that he never has read it, nor does he want to read it. So to say that
some parts
Trump,
are good.
Excuse me, I've got the floor. To say that this is his project, I think is wrong, and it's wrong to enter it into the records.
Mr. Chairman, this is about this committee not even waiting for Donald Trump, actually proceeding now to implement parts of Project 2025. I can't imagine anything more relevant given the subject matter of this hearing, so I will request unanimous consent to enter it into the record so we can demystify this for Mr. Graves and others who seem to think that there's not a direct line.
So is there objection to entering the 2025 report that is not the Trump report as stated by Mr. Huffman?
Just written by Trump's complete inner circle, but yes.
Yes. There is objection. Moving right along, the chair now recognizes the gentlelady from New York, Ms. Ocasio-Cortez, for 5 minutes.
I must say I find that surprising. Rarely in the history of this committee or any other have I seen an objection to unanimous consent report for documents regardless of party submitting to it. I do not object to Republican submissions as opposed, personally opposed as I am to them on their grounds, including when I think they're factually incorrect. So I find that extraordinarily disappointing. Given the fact that Representative Huffman was not allowed to submit his unanimous consent on Project 2025, perhaps we should talk about it a little bit more. President Trump denied association with it last night. He also said a lot of other things. He talked about eating pets and transgender operations on migrants in prisons, and he talked about being the leader of fertilization. I mean, his denial doesn't really carry much weight here. The fact of the matter is that the Heritage Foundation, which has drafted Project 2025, has had a history documented of extraordinary influence over the Trump administration, including those individuals that were part of his administration, as well as the broader agenda of the Republican Party, which is what we're seeing play out here today. You know, again, I am disappointed, and I would like to seek unanimous consent once again to submit Project 2025 under my personal request.
Without objection? So ordered.
Thank you very much.
Gentlelady's time has expired.
But what's shocking to me this morning walking into this room, and I share my colleague AOC's just absolute shock a few moments ago, if you roll back the tape, I saw something. I have worked in the federal government for over a decade, and I have never seen anyone object to a unanimous consent to put evidence into the record. I hope people will take note of that. I've never seen that before. And we had multiple members object to putting Project 2025 in the record today. And what's shocking about that, truly shocking, is first of all, it doesn't even have to be in the record, you guys. It's online. You can just Google it. It's right here. And if you read it, AOC actually read from page 61 of this report, which was written by Donald Trump's OMB director, the section on CEQ is specifically about the provisions that are in the bills that are on this agenda today. It literally is calling for the things that are in this bill. That is literally what it says. You can read it. It's right here online. And not only does it say that it should implement what Donald Trump did during his administration, it says right here on page 61 it should go further. It says that it should use the judicial review that the Supreme Court just put into place by overturning Chevron deference to make it possible for the administration to go further. So when my friends across the aisle, and I respect and I want to work with you all on a bipartisan basis, say that Project 2025 has nothing to do with what's happening here today, it has everything to do with what's happening here today because it's all right here in this document. So I'm just genuinely shocked. I hope people will replay the clip over and over again of the objection that just happened here a few moments ago, because I have never seen that happen. And I'm frankly just shocked by some of the rhetoric I hear around this dais today. You had a bite at the apple. You tried to tank our economy over it. You got what you wanted, and now you're back here asking for more? Well, our community's lives are on the line. And with that, I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back, and to clarify the record, Ms. Stansberry, I'm not sure if you were here when the Project 2025 report was accepted to the record. I think the objection was to something called the Trump Project 2025 report, which if you or Mr. Huffman or anybody else can produce that report, a legitimate report that's not been photoshopped, then we would probably more than likely unanimously accept that to the record too.
Mr. Chairman, I respect that, and I have deep respect for you as well, but I think you can replay the tape, and that is not what was objected to, so thank you.